This is Fallout New Vegas. This is the game I've chosen to do my mod for. This is actually the very start of the game right here, a town called Good Springs. My mod's over there in the Good Springs Cemetery. The main aspect of my mod that I made is I built a gun in 3ds Max and I put it into NIF scope and applied textures in Photoshop, used a fair bit of software, and I put it into the game now. I also played around with a few other settings. I made an NPC. He's like a deceased NPC, but I started to play around with a bit of his settings to make sure that he wasn't just like flying in the sky, and had to make him actually fall down like a dead person. And the gun that I made is based off of a weapon design from a game called Deus Ex Human Revolution. It came out in about 2011, I think. Okay, so this is the contents of my mod in this grave right here. This is my NPC Adam. He's named that also as a reference to Deus Ex, where I took the primary design ideas for my gun. He's made to be have some sort of likeness to the protagonist from that game. And also some settings when I was playing around with him is I got him to behave kind of like a cyborg, like the character from that game, and that when you shoot him, sparks will fly off and he'll behave kind of like a robot. Let's get some halo first. Sparks and metal holes, kind of like a robot. His limbs still come off, so he's still a fleshy person. And this right here is my gun that I made. You can see it there. The textures look a little plain. That's because I was going for a new weapon sort of effect. Everything else in this game kind of looks dirty, so they look a bit more busy, whereas this is mostly solid colors, and I don't think much in this game has really any noticeable spec maps. So yeah, the gun looks pretty good from angles like this. Building the gun, I had to go through all the stats. I got it to comply mostly with what I had set out to do on my design document. I didn't want to make a weapon that was too overpowered or anything, so it's about the same damage as some of the better assault rifles in the game. But it doesn't fire like an assault rifle, it's single fire. So it's intended to have accuracy and damage over speed and things like that. The model itself is about 5,000 polys, or 5,500, and I think most of the guns in the game are closer to 4,000, but it still runs just fine, so that's okay. The gun's silenced, so I got to change a lot of the sound files to make sure you can only hear it within a certain range, and it makes the sound files from the .22 silenced SMG, I think, is where I got those files from. I added a night vision scope. You can't really tell in a well-lit area like this. Sorry, so it runs with 5mm ammo, which is I'll get that go away. Primarily used for the minigun, so it's an advantage to let it run on something like this. Yeah, sorry. So the ammunition that this gun uses is primarily used for the minigun, but so you've always got ammo for that lying around. But I never use guns like that in this game. There's the night vision scope. It's the gun I also added a different smoke effect, I think. So more smoke comes out when it fires. You can see in the scope. It's also got a kickback effect, so when it gets a critical chance, it'll send the victim much further than it otherwise would. It's got a fair bit of a critical hit damage. The reload animation, everything seemed to come through pretty well because I used the size reference from existing guns. So when the character reloads the weapon, he pulls the charging handle back and places the clip in the right spot. He also holds it in nearly the right position. His hand is a little bit far forward there, his left hand, but it still looks like he's holding the gun, so that's okay. I also changed the animation I've set the animation for the bullets to be like those of a high-powered sniper rifle. So that way they look a bit shinier when they shoot, and they put bigger holes in things, essentially. So that's the bulk of my mod. Let's have a look at the gun right there. It all seems to work fine. It's pretty fun in the end, and hope you enjoy. Okay, bye.